Most men don't lack options. They lack discernment. And that's why a lot of men confuse a good woman with a bad one, because they're focused on what's loud. Flashy beauty, attention, sexual energy, the excitement. But the women who bring chaos usually look the most interesting in the beginning. And the women who bring peace often look boring to immature men. Then months later, you're tired, you're drained, you're fighting every week. And you're asking yourself, how did I end up here? Because you picked with your eyes, not with your standards. So today, I'm going to show you 8 qualities that reveal a woman's real character, not her performance, not her sweet talk, not her pictures, not her vibe. These are the signs that tell you, this woman will build with me, or this woman will break me. Now let's get into it. She challenges your mind, not just your emotions. Most men fall in love with a face. Then they try to build a future with a personality they never tested. And that's why many relationships die quietly. Because once the attraction becomes normal, you realize you've been living with a body, not a brain. A woman worth keeping doesn't only make you feel good. She makes you think better. She has opinions that aren't borrowed from TikTok. She can disagree with you without disrespecting you. She can question you without trying to shame you. And here's the real test. When you talk to her, do you feel like you're growing? Or do you feel like you're just passing time? Because attraction is easy. But mental connection, that's what survives the boring days. That's what survives the bills. That's what survives the season when you're tired, stressed, and not romantic. Let me make it real. A woman can be beautiful and still be empty. Every conversation is gossip, complaining, and shallow topics. At first, it feels fun. Then, it feels like starvation. But when a woman challenges your mind, something changes. You start respecting her. And once a man respects you, he becomes loyal in a deeper way. Because now you're not just his girlfriend. You're his partner. And if you've found a woman who makes you sharper, wiser, more focused, don't play with that. Because men don't cheat emotionally first. They cheat mentally first, by getting bored. A woman who feeds your mind protects your relationship from that boredom. And that's rare. But here's where most men fail. They confuse peaceful with boring. So they chase drama instead of depth. And that brings us to the next point. 2. She knows how to compromise. Without ego. Let's be honest. Most relationships don't break because of one big problem. They break because of 1,000 small fights that never got resolved. Not because you disagreed, but because you didn't know how to disagree without destroying each other. A woman worth keeping doesn't treat conflict like a war. She doesn't argue to win. She argues to understand. She doesn't use emotions as a weapon. She doesn't turn every conversation into, "Let me show you I'm the prize and you're lucky I'm here." No. She sees the relationship like a team. And when you're a team, compromise is not losing. It's strategy. You want the movie, she wants another. Fine. But deeper than that, life decisions, money, family, location, future. A woman who can compromise has one major skill. She can put her ego down long enough to protect the bond. Because some people would rather be right than be loved. Some people would rather win arguments than build a life. And if you're dealing with a woman like that, you'll spend your relationship in court instead of in peace. But if she can meet you halfway, communicate, adjust, and still stay respectful, that's not common. That's maturity. And that's why the next point matters even more. Because compromise means nothing if her emotions are unstable. 3. She is emotionally consistent, not chaotic. This one will save your life. A man can handle stress from work. He can handle pressure. He can handle struggle. But the one thing that slowly kills a man is living with someone unpredictable. One day she's sweet. Next day she's cold. One day she loves you. Next day she's punishing you for something you don't even understand. That kind of relationship doesn't feel like love. It feels like survival. A woman worth keeping is emotionally consistent, not perfect, not robotic, not always happy, but stable. You don't have to guess who you're getting today. You don't have to walk on eggshells. You don't have to over-explain every small thing to avoid an explosion. She can be upset without being destructive. She can be angry without being disrespectful. She can communicate without turning the home into a battlefield. And let me tell you why this matters. A man becomes his best self in peace. In chaos, he becomes a version of himself he doesn't even like. So if she's consistent, she gives you something most people never get in modern dating: emotional safety. And once a man feels emotionally safe, he becomes loyal, protective, and committed. But here's the scary part. Some men are addicted to chaos because it feels exciting, until they realize excitement is not love. But here's where most men fail. They tolerate inconsistency because the woman is pretty. And then they wonder why they can't focus, build, grow, or breathe. Which leads to the next quality. 4. She doesn't hold grudges or weaponize the past. Let's keep it raw. There are women who don't fight fair. They fight dirty. They don't want to solve problems. They want to hurt you. Then call it emotions. So every time you argue, she brings up old mistakes, old fights, old messages, old flaws, not to heal, but to punish. And that's how relationships die. Because how can you build a future with someone who keeps dragging you back into the past? A woman worth keeping understands something powerful. Resentment is poison, and the person who holds it gets poisoned first. So when you mess up, and yes, men mess up, she addresses it like a grown woman. She speaks, she's clear, she's direct. Then she watches your actions. If you change, she moves forward. If you repeat the same disrespect, she leaves. That's healthy. But she doesn't forgive you on Monday, then punish you with it on Friday. Because forgiveness without release is fake forgiveness. It's just stored ammunition. And if a woman can truly forgive, let go, and rebuild trust with maturity, that's not weakness. That's strength. And that's the foundation of a long relationship. And that's why the next point is even more dangerous. Because when a woman has peace inside her, she won't need outside validation. Before we go deeper, do me one favor. Hit the like button so this video can reach more men who quietly need this truth. Thanks very much. Let's continue. 5. She supports your goals, and she has her own purpose. Let me say this in a way that might sting. A woman who truly values you will never feel threatened by your growth. She won't start acting weird when you get serious. She won't punish you for being ambitious. She won't turn your purpose into a "you're not giving me attention" argument. Because she understands something childish people don't understand. A man without direction becomes a man without respect. Now here's the real test. When you're building, does she become your peace? Or does she become your pressure? Some women don't want a man with purpose. They want a man with time, a man they can control, a man who stays small so she can feel big. So every time you're focused, she creates drama. Every time you're improving, she suddenly feels lonely. Every time you're leveling up, she starts competing with you emotionally. That's not love. That's fear. A woman worth keeping supports your mission without losing herself. And that's key. because she also has her own life, not in a boss babe performance way, but in a quiet, mature way. She's building her own skills, her own discipline, her own stability. So she doesn't cling. She doesn't beg. She doesn't need to sabotage you to feel secure. She chooses you, not because she's empty, but because she's full and still sees you as worth it. That's a rare kind of woman. But here's where most men fail. They confuse a woman's dependency for loyalty. They think, she needs me, so she loves me. No. Sometimes she needs you because she has nothing else. And that leads us to the next quality, the one that exposes character in this generation. 6. She doesn't use attention from other men as leverage. This one is modern-day poison. Because now everybody has a phone, everybody has DMs, everybody has options. So a lot of women don't cheat physically. They cheat spiritually. They cheat emotionally. They cheat with attention. They keep men around like spare tires. Not because they want them, but because it gives them power. So when you upset her, she posts thirst traps. When you don't respond fast, she suddenly has new friends. When she wants to control you, she starts acting like she's in demand. That behavior is not harmless. It's manipulation. A woman worth keeping doesn't do jealousy games. She doesn't flirt to test you. She doesn't collect male validation like it's oxygen. Because she doesn't need outside attention to feel valuable. Her loyalty isn't loud. It's clean. It's quiet. And if a woman protects the relationship, even when she's mad at you, even when you're not perfect, that tells you she's thinking long-term. Let me make it real. If she respects your presence, she won't entertain replacements. If she values you, she won't keep backups. And that's why the next point matters even more. Because attention games usually come from one thing: a woman who can't handle truth. 7. She is honest, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Most people don't want love. They want comfort. They want someone to lie nicely so they can stay the same. A woman worth keeping is honest in a way that builds you, not breaks you. She'll tell you the truth without humiliating you. She can say, "I don't like how you handled that," without trying to destroy your confidence. She can say, "You're wrong," without making you feel like a small boy. And here's the deeper part. She's honest, even when it costs her something. Meaning, she doesn't change the story to look innocent. She doesn't hide details because she wants to avoid consequences. She doesn't become confused when you ask direct questions. You know where you stand with her. That's rare. Because some women are sweet, but not truthful. Some women are calm, but not transparent. Some women are loyal, but only when it's convenient. Honesty is the foundation that keeps everything else from collapsing. And if you've ever dated someone who lies casually, you already know. Love without truth feels like you're sleeping next to a stranger. But here's where most men fail. They ignore dishonesty because they don't want conflict. They accept half-truths, mixed signals, vague answers, because they're scared of losing her. But the man who respects himself chooses clarity over confusion. And that takes us to the final quality. And honestly, this is the one that separates a girlfriend from a wife. 8. She brings peace, not constant emotional stimulation. Listen carefully. Excitement is easy to find. Peace is rare. A lot of men are addicted to a type of woman who keeps their heart racing. Not because she's special, but because she's unstable. Every day feels like a movie. High highs, low lows, passion, then punishment, love, then coldness. And the man calls it chemistry. No, that's emotional addiction. A woman worth keeping brings peace. Not boring peace. Not dead peace. I mean the kind of peace where you can breathe, you can focus, you can plan, you can build. You don't feel drained after seeing her. You don't feel like you're constantly proving yourself. When she's in your life, your nervous system relaxes. That's what peace does. It makes a man stable, and stability creates success. And you know what's crazy? Many men only realize the value of peace after they've been destroyed by chaos. So if you have a woman who brings you peace, respects the bond, stays honest, doesn't play attention games, supports your growth, bro, that's not common. That's not every woman. That's rare. Now listen. Don't take this video and start acting like a judge in your relationship. These qualities are not a perfect woman checklist. They're signals, patterns that help you see character more clearly. Because the truth is, there are still deeper factors about a good woman you can learn. Her childhood conditioning, her emotional maturity, her boundaries, how she handles pressure, how she heals, how she loves, and how you show up too. And not every woman will have all 8 at the same level. Some women are still growing. Some women had to survive things you'll never understand. And sometimes, a good woman can look difficult when she's just unhealed. So don't rush to label her. And don't rush to throw away your relationship just because she doesn't match one point on this list. Observe over time. Communicate. Lead with wisdom, not ego. But here's the main message. If you recognize real character in a woman, don't be careless with it.